Is it even worth getting a home inspection in Minnesota and Western Wisconsin? I'm going to give you my honest opinion in this video. My name is Travis Anderson, your local real estate expert. Let's talk about it. So is it worth getting a home inspection? In some cases, the answer is actually no. If you're buying a home that's newer, if you've got some expertise, if you're able to get your head in the attic and you have an understanding about the roof condition and the foundation condition, you can get a good understanding of the plumbing and the electrical by running water through and checking some things yourself. And in some instances, if you're competing with other buyers in Minnesota and Western Wisconsin, the answer is probably no. It might not be worth it. In previous videos, I said we shouldn't have our cousin, we shouldn't have Aunt Susie do the home inspection, and that's true. So when I say it might not be worth it in some instances, I mean, it's a rare instance. It might be less than 3% or 5% of the time in a normal market. If you're approaching a highly competitive market, we're seeing 40%, 50% of the time people waiving inspections. And so if you're going to buy the right home and you have the right home in mind, and if the market determines that an inspection on the contract is not going to get the house, well, then in those instances, it might be worth waiving an inspection. Now, is it worth it in all other scenarios? Absolutely. If you're going to spend $500 up to $1,000 to inspect the property, it is almost always worth it in those other instances to have a third-party inspector take a look at the foundation, take a look at the roof, run water through the plumbing, check every electrical outlet. They're going to open every window. They're going to open every door, right? They're going to shine flashlight in areas that you and I don't even look at generally. And so in all other cases, you spend $500, $1,000, it's worth every single penny. And at a minimum, what my clients get is a report with a checklist of things that they should be fixing over time. So that is worth every single penny. Now let's talk about Minnesota compared to Wisconsin. In Minnesota, that inspection contingency at the time of this video allows you to cancel for any reason. So is it worth having the inspection contingency that will allow you to cancel for any reason in that time frame? I think the answer to that is absolutely yes. Wisconsin, that's not the case. In Wisconsin, you might have to find a true defect and then ask the seller to repair the defect. And then if the seller is unwilling to repair the defect, you may be able to cancel. So there's some differences there, but the cost of that inspection might be worth just the ability to cancel, even if you choose not to cancel. It's sort of like having an insurance policy or something like that. And so it's like, is it worth it to have insurance? Well, it's worth it when you use the insurance. So an inspection is sort of the same thing. If you've got questions about any experiences that you've had or anything that you've heard, shoot me a call, shoot me a text, hit me up in the comments section, okay? And in today's market update, let's talk about Apple Valley. So what's the average home in Apple Valley? It's $393,000. It's a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, 2,100 square feet, built in 1995. 53% of all of those sales are single-family homes. Those average $475,000. They're a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home with just about 2,500 square feet, built in 1986. 47% of all those sales then are townhomes. $297,000 on average. Those are 2-bedroom, 2 baths, 1,624 square feet, built in 1995. Again, my name is Travis Anderson, your local real estate expert, and as always, all my best to you and yours.